The Michael Myers fanatic is back. The year is 1962. The movie is Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. It stars Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. Bette Davis plays Jane Hudson, aka Baby Jane, and Joan Crawford plays Blanche Hudson. The Michael Myers fanatic said it before, and he'll say it again. Human beings are the scariest monsters that we have in this world. They are scarier than any demon could ever be. They are scarier than Jason could ever be, than Michael Myers could ever be. And the reason that the Michael Myers fanatic says this is because you never know what a human being is gonna do. We know what Jason's gonna do. We know what Michael Myers is gonna do, but you never know what a human being is gonna do. This movie opens up with the year 1917, and Baby Jane Hudson is standing on the stage singing a song entitled "I Written a Letter to Daddy." And she's basically saying in so many words that she misses her father and that his address is heaven. Well, the Michael Myers fanatic don't know anything about the afterlife, so he's not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But put it this way, she's basically a child star, and her sister Blanche is watching from the sidelines. And to make a long story short, as she gets older, it just gets worse. She accidentally runs over her sister Blanche, or that's what she wants everyone to believe, that it's accidental. This leaves Blanche confined to a wheelchair. Baby Jane Hudson, all grown up now, she has become mentally ill. Her sister Blanche is worried about her, tries to have her committed, but Jane keeps stopping her. Jane says she doesn't understand why Blanche got all the attention because she is the real star. Now, Blanche has a little pet bird that she likes very much. She says, "I love this bird," and she talks to the bird and whatnot. And Jane comes into the room and tells her, "Hey, Blanche, I gotta clean the bird cage." So Blanche reluctantly hands over the bird and the bird cage. This is where Jane commits her first act of evil on screen, and she lets the bird out of the cage. She then comes back and Blanche says, "What happened to the bird?" Jane replies, "It got out while I was cleaning the cage." Now, their cleaning lady named Elvira explains to Jane, or to Blanche, excuse me, that she thinks that Jane did it on purpose. Blanche, of course, denied this. Blanche is also a star, like her sister, but the only difference is Blanche is still relevant in the world of entertainment, and her sister is what they would call a has-been, meaning she's no longer popular. As the time goes on, Blanche says to Jane that she's hungry. Jane is Blanche's caretaker now, so Jane gets her breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or din-din as Jane calls it. Jane brings in the tray of food, and Blanche opens it only to discover that it is the bird on the tray that she sees. So we are now learning more and more about Jane's psyche. Not only is she mentally ill, but she's homicidal because she's killing animals. That's a serious warning sign right there. Her condition is really bad and it just deteriorates as the movie goes on. So Blanche is basically saying, "You wouldn't be able to do these things to me if I were not in a wheelchair." Jane replies by saying, "But you are in a wheelchair. And it's not much to tell. It's just a basic case of sibling rivalry." But you know what? The Michael Myers fanatic can't even call this sibling rivalry because with sibling rivalry, they do small things. They normally don't kill each other's pets and things. But as the story goes on, Jane tries to date this guy. I forgot his name, but she tries to date him. But she's doing a good job of hiding the fact that she's homicidal. And I think Jane is a little upset that nobody remembers her because she's like, don't you know who I am? I'm Baby Jane. Baby Jane Hudson. And they reply by saying, well, who the hell is Baby Jane Hudson? As the story goes on, the little tricks that Baby Jane plays on Blanche get worse and worse. Because now, once again, Blanche says, I'm hungry. And then Baby Jane replies by saying, no, you didn't eat your din-din. And the Michael Myers fanatic is looking at this crap and he's saying to himself, this chick is crazy. And the Michael Myers fanatic wants to know, how come nobody recognized just how ill Jane actually is? I mean, this chick is absolutely insane. Literally, Jane Hudson is actually literally insane. And nobody noticed this except her sister. I guess she hides it well. You know, the Michael Myers fanatic did hear when he was younger that when people are mentally insane, sometimes they hide it on purpose so you won't arrest them. She decides to give Blanche her lunch, and the lunch turns out to be a dead rat. At this point, Jane Hudson is cracking up. I mean, she's laughing hysterically. She basically tells Blanche that the reason why she's so mean to her is because she never let her have any friends. She never let her have any type of life. That's basically the story in a nutshell. The pranks get worse and worse. But only this time, Blanche tries to communicate with the outside world because Jane is holding her hostage in her own house. And Jane is jealous that she got everything, but Jane has nothing. This time she writes a note, and it basically says, do not let my sister read the contents of this note. She drops it out the window hoping somebody will see it, but before anybody can see it, Jane intercepts the note. And then, of course, Blanche tries to call the psychiatrist. This makes Jane very angry because Jane is physically assaulting her sister. She's kicking her in the stomach. Later on, she decides to give the cleaning lady, Elvira, the day off. Elvira gets suspicious, but she takes the day off nonetheless. But then, a couple days later, she wonders why nobody asked her to come back. Of course, this would lead to her demise because Jane Hudson told her to go home, but instead she goes in the house and she finds Blanche tied up and her mouth gagged. Jane can't let anybody find out what she's doing, so she kills the cleaning lady, Elvira, by taking a hammer and smashing her across the head with it. And now Jane is afraid that people are going to find out her secret. So she says, Blanche, Blanche, you've got to help me keep my secret. What the Michael Myers fanatic doesn't understand is that after all the terrible things that she's done to her sister, she now wants her sister to help her. This only goes to show you that Jane Hudson is clearly out of touch with reality. Blanche is now dying because she hasn't eaten in days. So Jane Hudson takes her to the beach and they both lie there. Jane is laughing and giggling as if nothing is going on. Again, this shows that she's out of touch with reality. She even goes as far to ask for 2 ice cream cones, strawberry ice cream cones, one for her and one for her sister. This chick is truly crazy. She's eating ice cream while her sister is dying on the beach, dying from malnutrition. This, of course, was to make her sister starve herself. So I guess you could say every day she killed her, but she did it slowly. Well, my friends, the movie is coming to an end. It is assumed that Blanche died on the beach, and Jane is completely insane now. And it is also assumed that she gets arrested by the police. She's twirling around once again as if nothing is going on. It was a good movie. This has been the 1962 movie, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I'm the Michael Myers fanatic, and I approve this message.